share any kind of sorry, somebody is live streaming. Got it right. So next, moving on to next person. So Annie Besant. So she was born in 1847. So second president of the Theosophical Society from 1907 to 1933. She was an outstanding orator of her time, a champion of human freedom through education, philanthropies, as well as great author. More than 300 books was written to her credit. So she was a great orator. So she was even she donated her house in Madras to the activities of the freedom struggle, freedom movement. So to the national leaders, the as well as the local leaders, we can assemble at their particular at the animation house in Madras. They will can discuss. They can chalk out the plan for the future action. So how can they can particular strategy, particular movement can be evolved. They will be set. So we can assemble the animation also discuss the evolve the strategies. So a new period in Anand's life began in 1913. So when she became active in Indian politics, she entered the Indian politics in 1913. So gave lead by claiming the home rule for India. So she has identified. So we need to have the self rule. So that can particular representative just we can able to elect our members. So we'll send our representative to the respective assemblies. So just we can just rule ourselves. That point of home rule movement was given appeal.
ये डोर लगाओ. अच्छा आप है.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Means new period in Anand's life began in 1913. So when she became active in Indian politics, gave lead by claiming the home rule for Indian 1916. The home rule movement she organized spread all over the India. So she used all her resources to bring together on the common platform of the All India Home Rule League, the two sections of the Indian National Congress, which had divided since 1907. So national later she elected the president of the she was elected president of the Indian National Congress, became the elected president of the Indian National Congress, inspiring the Indians with the dynamic vision of the Indian future. So she was a great orator as well. So whenever she goes, they will capable to so mobilize, capable to insight, capable to.
ठीक है बेटा ठहरो.
Yeah, somebody is unmute. Sorry, mute, please. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So that's kind of an inspiration. That kind of an great speaker. So as well as so through her language, maybe she's speaking in English. So she is speaking eloquently and attractively, so that can the message, the information, the appeal. So it's so touching, heart touching. So she's able to capable to mobilize the youth as well as all section of the society to work togetherness to work for the freedom struggle. So that's kind of she has organized so many sessions at the Kerala, Madras, in Mumbai, in even Andhra Pradesh also. So through the speeches, through the eloquent speeches, she is capable to incite nationalism as well as mobilize the people towards the towards one goal that is that was to get independence for India. So that kind of thing. So she started the Young Men's Indian Association in 1914 to train them for public work and donated Gokhale Hall in Madras as a Center for National Awakening and Free Speech. So this is this kind of she owned a particular. She has donated the Gokhale Hall, so her house for awakening as well as platform for to discuss the to evolve the strategies at their donated house. So in 1914, Anil Vicent acquired the Madras Standard and a Daily and renamed it as a New India. So she also brought about a newspaper. She also just owned the Madras Standard newspapers, daily newspapers. So later it's named it's a New India. She also through her articles, through the columns. So she has also as well. She is a great orator. So she has, I mean, through her columns, through her writings, she's also tried to mobilize the people. So maybe uh, through, I mean, to propagate their ideology of the, I mean, oneness, to incite or to appeal the people to work togetherly to get the independence from the British India government, the sort of a thing. So she also considered as, I mean, one of the earlier journalists of the newspapers who also made, I mean, her contribution to the press through her columns, through her their editorialships and their columns. So next, moving on to Gandhi. So just we'll just go in deep Gandhi. So it was, I mean, earlier also we just discussed. I think we have also discussed about the Gandhi as well. So just moving on to next thing. I will stop this Gandhi slide. So I will just in detail. If you want, I just will go in detail. So I will share another slide. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, just we'll go in detail so about Gandhiji because, I mean, so how the so how, I mean, Gandhiji, I mean, has, I mean, great contribution towards the towards, I mean, as a journalist. So from the initial initial stages to the how we even utilize the medium. So how it's made, I mean, tremendous impact on India. So that through, I mean, through, I mean, various people we have been started so many papers. So we'll discuss in detail. So Gandhi was, I mean, not a saint. So not, I mean, he is a religious leader. So original thinker as, I mean, an acute political strategist, as an Asian who was influenced by Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, as a person who was deeply influenced by the teachings of Jesus Christ, Socrates, and Tolstoy, Ruskin, Thoreau. Gandhi was endowed with, I mean, intellectual openness, which helped him to learn from others. As a result, I mean, live up to his ideals. So he's, I mean, gone through, I mean, various ideologies, various studies, I mean, different persons, I mean, different persons' ideology, philosophy. Maybe it may be Socrates, it may be Ruskin, it may be Thoreau, it may be, I mean, preaches of the Jesus Christ. So he collected the, I mean, good things from the all philosophies. So he assembled all these good things, has collected the good things. So the philosophy of non-violence turned into an instrument of public indecent and a pragmatic tool of the powerless against the powerful. So he's adopted the all of studying the all philosophies and collecting the good things from the all the philosophies as well as all isms. So he able to, I mean, propagate. He able to evolve his own ideology, so that can, I mean, make it's more powerful. So that's why we, I mean, adopted the non-violence, adopted the non-violence aspect to just make it, I mean, a powerful tool against the powerful. The conflict resolution. So basically, so what, I mean, is saying, what is, I mean, ideology, what is, I mean, intended, what is, I mean, foresee. So this kind of is basically concentrated on the conflict resolution and universal harmony is able to appeal that the universal harmony. So non-violence was also an essential moral exercise. So Gandhi envisioned an ideal society where social justice is done, including for the last person. The entire Gandhian thought in the realm of citizenship and democracy revolves around the establishment of a just society. So where every people will be able to will be treated as equal. It will be represented. It will given equal rights, equal opportunities, so equal education. So that sort of welfare society, that kind of society is anticipated. It has been expected. So the main aim was to restructure the human to suit an intercultural pluridimensional democracy. So it was his thoughts. So initial stage. So nonviolent democratic theory as a philosophy for intercultural dialogue is still far ahead of our time, several generations after his death. So even nonviolence activity, they maybe later, Nelson Mandela, adopted the same kind of aspect, same kind of ideology to achieve the South Africa independence. So that's kind of even it's so relevant. So religion for him is identified with the ethics rather than the theology. So he what he aspires, what he think about the religion. So he thinks that the religion is identified as ethics. So he picks the ethics. What is preaches, what is the ideology, what is the philosophy of the particular religion that will instruct, that will direct the people, that will make the people to move on to adapt live life on a good thing. So that kind of things, that kind of aspects he identified in the religion, rather than a theology. Theology means it's particularly speak about the particular religion. So it's depth thing. So it's collected the things. So what things. So what is the basic aspects that teach the people good things to live life? Harmoniously to have them in non-violent and democratic way, so that people can live happily. That kind of a sorts of that kind of aspects he identified. So he selected from the various religions as well. So his concept of democracy and modes and methods of achieving it, including satyagraha, swaraj, were not theological concepts. So it's his own concepts. So next, moving on to next thing. So he defined his mission of promoting non-violence and democracy in India beyond all political and philosophical sources of hatred, exclusion, suspicion, and war. These are how is the mission. So he is promoted. So non-violence is democratic way. So that is that eliminates, that excludes the suspicion, war, and hatreds among the people. Gandhi's philosophy of democracy introduces anti-monistic and pluralistic dimensions into primarily territorial rootedness of Indianness. So say Indianness, we people of India, so need to be that kind of a nationalism, that kind of a Indianness has to be inculcated. That can be developed. That sort of aspects that are the elements. So he identified. He has tried to just focus. So why Gandhi as a writer and journalist and editor? Why Gandhi wanted to write or become an editor? So is it to raise the voice against the British Raj? Is it to reach the masses of India? Is it to bind the people of the various regions as sisters and brothers? So is it to express spiritual ideas for the good cause? Is it to achieve the Sarvodaya, moral and spiritual economic aspects? So this is why he's chosen, why he's become a writer, why he's become a journalist. These are the aspects where we discussed. So it will be evaluated. So why, what motivated him? What aspects, elements it's made him to write against the become a writer, to work as a journalist for various newspapers. So the first one was published in the issue of Gandhiji as a writer. So these are the things. So he identified the power of the press, power of the newspaper, so that can able to unite the people. You can express the express the views, ideas, concepts. So educate the people. So mobilize the people towards the one issue, to mobilize towards the one aspect, towards the one issue, so that they can able to work togetherly to attain to achieve something against the good things. So sorry. to achieve some thing. So that's kind of, I mean, this medium, he identified that this kind of this press as a medium to educate the people, to mobilize the people. So his journey as a writer started first in 1891. So he was the first under the caption of Indian vegetarian. He's contributed 9 articles to this magazine, depicting 9 articles to the vegetarian. First is as a writer. So he started contributing articles to the contributing the vegetarian newspaper at a particular time. So in another article in the journal written in March 28, 1891, it describes the important Indian religious ceremonies under the caption of some Indian festivals. So it's also highlighted, that's also published in the vegetarian newspaper. So next, moving on to next slide. So Gandhi started publication of Indian Opinion in 1903. So first issue of Indian Opinion was published on June 4, 1903. So prime objective of Indian Opinion was to protect the Indian interests, the main objective of the Indian Opinion. So through his, I mean, first Indian Opinion published in 1903 is the first issue of Indian. So through to protect the main objective of this Indian Opinion newspaper was to protect the Indian interests. So the main motive of this particular newspaper, which spoke about the thing. So Indian Opinion. So what is it basically? So Indian Opinion objective is, I mean, how, I mean, what, I mean, is objectives evolved. The objective of the Indian Opinion were, I mean, to provide the news to all sections of the society in their own language, to advocate their cause, to provide the information of the events happening in India, to contain contributions from the competent writers, Indian as well as Europeans, to cover all aspects on social, moral, and intellectual issues. So these are the objectives, these are the things, elements evolved to just inculcate this, provide the news information, news as well as the information to the all section of the society. This kind of the objectives evolved, this kind of the things, objectives evolved by the Indian Opinion newspaper. So next, Satyagraha and Young India. So Gandhi had contributed a lot as a journalist in South Africa. His experience in South Africa helped him when he arrived in India in Jan 1930. So journalism was not a profession in India at that particular point of time, except Anglo-Indian press. So when he arrived in India, so press is, I mean, scattered here and there. So they're scatteredly printing and publishing the newspapers. So Anglo-Indian press was technically superior, but it wasn't popular among the Indians. The Indian newspapers are popular among Indians, but there was, I mean, sorry, there was a depth of professional approach and quality of printing is there. So he's identified that thing. So how the press is prevailing at a particular point of time when he arrived in India. So in Anglo-Indian press and the Indian press, so managed by Indians. So what is the difference? What is the, how, I mean, Anglo-Indian press technically superior, but not able to reach the Indians. So where, I mean, Indian newspapers have the, I mean, circulation, has the reach, but I mean, it's not it's not having, I mean, professional approach and professional and quality of printing. The sort of an aspects he identified when he arrived in India. Press institute. So when the other aspects of the press, when he has arrived, what he identified. So the circumstances were not that favorable to the publish and run newspaper in India due to many government's orders and policies during the days. Two acts: the first Criminal Amendment Act of 1913, the second Defense of Indian Regulation Act of 1914 were made to check the Indian newspapers and force them to stop criticizing the British India government, and due to the security policy of the Press Association of India. This sort of the two acts. So even if, during particular time, so the press running the particular newspaper, printing, bringing about the newspaper, running the newspaper is not easy one. So I mean, so many laws are there, so many amendments, so many restrictions. So that are particularly imposing that, particularly restricting the Indian newspapers. So publishing, so against the British India government, as well as, I mean, putting, giving the voice to their, I mean, voice to the voiceless. So that kind of things were prevailed during that particular time. So next, in during that particular time, so 133, 173 news presses, 129 newspapers were killed at the birth due to the demand of heavy security. Over 500 publications were prohibited within that particular period. So when he identified this, how the newspaper situation was there. So in the earlier stage when he arrived in India, the government took the coercive action against the 1963 newspapers and printing presses between 1917 to 1919. So almost all the, so I mean 963 papers were got the ire of the British India government. So they were supposed to close down, supposed to stop the printing press, stop the printing. So next Satyagraha. So an unregistered weekly Satyagraha was started under the leadership of Gandhi to protest against the discriminatory as well as biased policies of the British Indian government. It started publication from April 7, 1919, and mass appeal continued, and very soon the Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place. When Satyagraha was called up, Gandhi didn't stop, and he continued to educate and inform the people, mostly through leaflets. So in 1919, since the Satyagraha was started in 1919, so after them starting and the mass appeal was continued. So through Satyagraha weekly. So then after Jallianwala Bagh was incident. So he has also written against the Jallianwala Bagh's the situations. How how the actions taken by the British government. So how cruel. So this sort of the things he highlighted through his newspaper. So next, moving on to next thing, a young group of young Gujarati started an English weekly, Young India, and editorship of the Young India was offered to Gandhi. So Gandhi, Young India was soon converted into weekly. It brought from Bombay to Ahmedabad. So how the journey of the Young India started. Actually, it's for Gujarati. So a group of young Gujarati started an English weekly. So then it is converted to English. Then it brought to from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad. Sorry. So next, Navjivan. So we are speaking about the Navjivan. So Navjivan first appeared on 7th October 1919. So Young India followed the suit, and after that, after that day, Gandhi was the editor of both and Mahadev Desai and Shankarlal Bankar were the printer and the publisher. Gandhi started to write his views freely, turning Young India and Navjivan into a views paper. So two papers simultaneously just uh, try to publish and print, so continuously contribute articles and this editorship to the particular this newspapers. So he is fairly capable to express his views in particular these two papers. So when Gandhi was the editor of the Indian opinion, his views was different and little soft to the British Empire. But the time his hopes in British justice was devastated. So earlier stage he was soft when he was South Africa. Some sort of when he has started Indian opinion in South Africa. His approach towards the British Indian government was a little bit soft when he arrived and see the situation in India. So it's totally different. He's identified. He's witnessed the situation that is totally quietly different. So he's just change his stand towards the British India government. So after seeing the atrocities, after seeing the British government administration in India, so next Gandhiji India became the powerful vehicle. So Young India became the powerful vehicle of his views. So on all subjects, he wrote on all subjects. He wrote simply and clearly, but forcefully with passion. So he has some sort of passion, so sort of mission, so that he can ignite, so that he can mobilize, so that he can educate the people. So towards independence. So Gandhi had papers published, no advertisements. So no advertisements. Basically, his newspapers, his ideology, the main motto of the newspapers was to service motive thing. So earlier stage, their motive was to service motive. Service motive means in order to educate the people, to uplift the lower caste people, uplift bring about the change in society. So mobilize the people. So bring about modern thinking in the newspaper. This kind of the service motives. What are the main intention of the particular this newspapers when Gandhi was became the editor and started contributing the column. So he identified the paper has the holy role. It will be considered a sanctity, more holistic approach. So they should not be. So we are not doing any business. So they should we could not able we We will not publish any sort of an advertisement. So it's not a business thing. So it's the main role of the newspaper is to serve the public, to bring about the change, to bring about the to educate the people. So in all spheres, in all society, in bring about the change in society. This kind of the service motive was there. That thing. So that main service motive thing. So uh, that kind of aspects things. Did not allow the advertisement in newspapers. So next, it was a means to serve the public in Young India of January 1925. He wrote, so even in 1925, he wrote, I have taken up journalism not for its sake, but merely as an aid to what I have conceived to be my mission in life. So it's Young India articles is also even written. So what is his intention? So starting about the particular newspapers, why is became a journalist, why he became a writer. So what is his appeal? Was his intention? Was expressed in articles as well. So next, Young India did not pay security money demanded by the government. As a result, sorry, yeah, so Young India did not pay the security money demanded by the government, and as a result, the press was confiscated on the printing of the journal staff. The Young India again restarted the publication in March 1931. So in the first issue of Gandhi wrote about the objective of the newspaper. So in the thing in the previous slides, what he wrote. So I've just in quotes I have just given. So the readers know that Young India and Naujivan do not exist for a commercial purpose. They are published for the sole purpose of educating the nation to win Purna Swaraj through truthful and non-violent means. This is the kind of thing, this is the appeal that kind of through his writings, put forward his words, his views in Young India and New Zealand that they are publishing for the sole purpose of educating the nation to win the Purna Swaraj through truthful and non-violent means only. So this kind of appeal through his articles were made. So Navjivan first appeared on October 1919. The India was published after a day after the Navjivan, while in India was has a little more than 1200, 1,200 subscribers. Navjivan has 12,000 subscriptions. Gandhi editing of the Navjivan in Gujarati provided language papers a reputation. Newspaper appointed reporters in many distant places to get news from villages. Many of his followers were moved to write and publish in the Indian language in imitation of his own direct style. Regional journalism began to acquire an importance. So that can, this is given, one sort of impetus, one sort of a motivation thing to various local leaders at regional level, so that can they can start their paper at in their own languages, so that they can be easily the motive, the kind of information, the kind of news that can be circulated in a particular region in particular language, so that can be able to easily understand and understand and is able to work or maybe mingle with the nationalistic approach, this kind of thing. So they incited and ignited and mobilized the Gandhi's writing, Gandhi's vision. So Gandhiji was also in charge of the publicity for Indian National Congress in the issue of the Young India dated March 9, 1922. Gandhi expressed his view against the publicity abroad. He raises the following parts: people in the country will be made less self-reliant as they will depend on outsiders to help in their struggle. Independent interest of other countries about the Indian
Sir,
conditions. Yes, yes. Somebody.
sir, this is Ali Khan here, sir.
Yeah, Ali Khan, yes, go ahead.
Sir, your class going to be finished in 5 minutes, sir. Can we get this notes? How do you have to get this notes, sir?
Do you want this slides?
Yeah, PPTs and all, sir. If you provide your
Yeah,
number, so either
uh,
we'll come and collect it, sir.
I will share. So do one thing.
Sir,
I will share you have a particular group is there, no? So I will share.
yes,
So
sir.
one of
That
you,
will be
so
better.
I will share in a group or just maybe send to one person. They can share among yourselves. So no
Very well,
problem.
sir.
Huh?
Very well, sir.
Sure.
Very well, sir.
So almost I will just close this with this Gandhi's aspects. So just within 5 minutes I will close. So maybe you may be having next. So we'll take 5 minutes break and then you can join the next class as well. So that
Other class, yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes,
that
sir.
class. So it will be 5 minutes will be make you refresh so that can it will not be monotonous so that you can get bored also.
No, no,
Okay.
no issue, sir. Very well, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your class, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure. I will share. No problem.
Please. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Next, in Gandhi, so March 11, 1902, Gandhi was sentenced to the 6 years imprisonment for writing rebellious articles like tampering with royalty, the puzzle and its solution, and shaking the under the titles of the tampering with royalty, the puzzle and its solutions, shaking the mood. So this kind of rebellious articles under the headline of this, banner of this particular headline. So tampering with loyalty, the puzzle of its solution, and shaking the move. The after so this ignited this get the ire of the British India government. So in 1982, Gandhi was sentenced to 6 years imprisonment for writing this kind of rebellious articles. So after Gandhi's arrest, circulation of the Young India Navjivan came down from 21,500 to 3,000. So because continuously writing the articles also mobilize the people. So once he's got arrested, they're not able to contribute his articles to particular newspapers, Young India and Navjivan. So it's the version, the come down, circulation came down. So next, moving on to Harijana. So Gandhi's goal was to awaken the people and reform the society. Gandhi's sole purpose of the journalism was to write on every walk of life, to inform, educate the people, and to write about the moral and ethical issues. So he continued to serve the society through his pains in his matter only. It is in this context that the paper Harijan was started, and its first appeared on February 1933 and was printed at a particular 1 anna. So at 1 anna to half anna. So particular there's annas were there in earlier stage. So the context of the Harijan was basically devoted to untouchability. So he basically wanted to just unite the all people, all section of the people, irrespective of the caste, religion, race. So that can, if we work together, unitedly, then only we can just attain the independence. So that's kind of a vision, that kind of a sort of a strategy he has. So that can he's different sections that maybe Young India, Navjivan, Harijan, this sort of the papers he has started to mobilize the particular section. So it's in a particular this Harijan paper is particularly touched the aspect he devoted the Harijan paper for untouchability. So basically, during that particular time, so there was so much untouchability is there. Even lower caste people are not allowed in temples, and they will not be thrown away from. They will be just not able to enter the particular village. They will be just have to set up their houses far away from the village. So it's kind of kind of aspects were prevail in the particular time. So that kind of things are identified. So that for that thing, particular that kind of aspects, he has started the Harijan paper, became the mouthpiece of the Harijan movement. When Gandhi was criticized for it, and he explained that in the Harijan dated in 21 December 1934, any problem connected with the welfare of villages as a whole must be intimately related to the Harijan, who represent over a sixth part of the India's population. So he's written his appeal. So how the particular problem is there. So how any problem connected with the welfare. So he's particularly more concentrated, more focused on the development of the villages, development of the all section of the society. That kind of a thing he has is in mind, his vision. So he has started this particular paper. He's devoted this aspect of the untouchability thing. So after 3.5 years of Gandhi was released on May 14th, and the Harijan was revived. So after thing, so sorry, one more thing is sorry, I've just moved on to directly last slide. So Gandhi was not writing for Harijan for a brief period in 1936 to 1936 due to ill health, as he was mentioned on the issue of the Harijan, February 1929, February 29, 1936. But he resumed writing on February 19. So under the title Nothing Without Grace, he wrote, I am now able, by way of trial, to resume to a limited extent my talks with the readers of the Harijan. So he resumed. So paper. So he's again started the writing the contributing the articles to the Arjan paper. So after Gandhi's arrest on August 1895, the Arjan paper was closed. So after 3.5 years of Gandhi was released on May 6, 1944. The Harijan was revived on February 10, 1946. So its Harijan paper is continued. How this is a contribution of Gandhiji. So towards how utilize the this popular medium, print medium to just mobilize the people, to educate the people, to uplift the all section of the people, to appeal as well as ask the people to work to unitedly to achieve the independence. So this sort of the thing. So here with I will just end my session. So definitely I will share these slides in a WhatsApp group. So no problem. So hope. So we do have any doubts in this one? So
What mean? I mean, if you have doubt, I mean, how do you have to contact, sir?
so there, my number is there. So you can so in the WhatsApp group you can find my number. So
Yes, sir.
if you have any doubts, you can just
If you want, I mean, it's very good, sir. If you give me your number, I'll note it down, sir.
It's there. Okay, note it down. So 957
957,
36
sir.
78870.
70. Very well, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
Really appreciate, sir.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. So
Sir, please repeat your number once again.
yeah, 957
Okay. 36
36 788
788.
70.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice of you, sir.
Thank you.
अरे बेटा बाबा पापा काम करते थे पर डिस्टर्ब नहीं करने का